Welcome back. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm now joined by Kai Buddha, who must be feeling pretty good about clinching a spot in Season 3.
Yeah, Kai Bude, who is staying in the Vintage League for another season. That was close, yeah. I mean, I thought my last two matches were pretty bad. Like, I thought that I'm probably favored against Doomsday, and when I lost against Tom, I was like, my next two matchups were Force of Will decks with Snowrod and Stony Silence, and I thought there was like a very good chance that I would O2 those matchups. But
You
yeah,
won both of them, though, right? You beat Menendian last week,
yeah.
and then you beat
I
me.
mean, neither of you managed to draw either Stony Silence or Nullrod in 6 games that we played.
True.
So yeah, I dodged that one, and I did get like 2 turn 1 kills, I think.
Sure.
I think I got one against Steve, and then I got one against you. So yeah, definitely running above average.
That was a fun match, though. Last game in particular, I thought I had you there, but I mean, you
Yeah.
out-top-decked me, basically.
When I saw the second annul, then yeah, no,
Yeah, no, I
looking
suspected the
pretty
box was
bad.
bait, but you had no way to know I'd drawn a Steel Sabotage, so yeah, I'll take the bait. Now I'll get the real one, too.
Yeah.
That was a cool game.
Yeah, lots of decisions there.
Next up, Luis Scott-Vargas against Rich Shay.
That also has implications. I think Rich is looking for the fourth win as well, right?
Every single match until we get to the main event is somebody who's going to make the top 4 against somebody trying to clinch not last.
Yeah.
So I believe I have now clinched exactly 4th. I can be involved in no tiebreakers, no matter how the rest of the match goes. I'm done. I'm ready for the 3-4 match. This match, though, if Luis wins, he ties Chris for first. If Rich wins, he clinches not last.
How is that tie broken between Chris and Luis? Is it direct comparison or
1-game playoff?
1-game playoff, sure.
Now, if Eric joins it, then it'll become essentially a 4-person bracket. Somebody gets lucky and gets a bye, and then we play it out to see how the seeds work out.
Either way, there's going to be a lot more vintage games.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of going to be rooting for Eric to lose so that we don't have to break the tie before the 3-4 game, because Eric and Luis head for the Pro Tour like tomorrow, and scheduling that will be a giant pain in the butt.
Yeah, most of my team are actually there since yesterday, I think. Already played there since then. I think most of Louis' team actually left too. It's just that he couldn't get vacation earlier.
Yeah, Pantheon, you guys head out usually earlier. You're not playing this Pro Tour?
No, I can't get time off work. Like, I tried, but it just didn't work out.
It's too bad. All right, well, let's get down to Luis and Rich Shay.
I actually talked to Luis before this, and he thought he was about 5% against Dredge. And now he's thinking that he's got maybe 30% against Rich, maybe Verse.
Wow.
Like, his deck is really not set up to deal with graveyard combo decks. Like, he's playing Punishing Fires. He expected people to play, like, Fair, Mentor, Pyromancer-based decks. And this is really not what Luis wanted to see at all. Like, I think he has 2 cages, and that's it.
Yeah, no, the Oath deck from Rich is not what I was expecting. I think everybody was expecting him to play Delver. Obviously, that's what he's been playing, and that's part of the reason Luis showed up with this thing.
Yeah.
But no, Rich is on Oath, which is a pretty good matchup against the Pyromancer deck. But it's vintage, right? Anything can happen. I think I did misspeak when I was talking about that tiebreaker, by the way. There'll be 1 match playoffs, not 1 game playoffs.
Well, it's never 1 game. It's always a match. Yeah.
Right. I just... All right, what do we got? Luis has his Pyromancer, he's a Time Walk. Rich does not have an Oath. Does have a Show and Tell, but doesn't seem to have anything to show out unless there's a card off to the left.
Well, Luis mulliganed into a 1-land, dig through time, Ancient Grudge hand. That's not very exciting.
Oh, yeah, it's a 1-land hand, isn't it? Oh, there's a Show and Tell in Rich's hand.
Now the question is, does Richard fight about that? No, he doesn't. But, I mean, you can make a point to fight over that. I mean, he only needs the Grizzlebrand, and he's got 3 in his deck. And then he's got turn 2 Show and Tell with Force of Will or Misdirection backup. Oh.
Yeah, Luis managed to resolve a Preordain, and there's Grove of the Burn Willows, so he can at least start casting real spells now. Forbidden Orchard joins Rich's hand, but no Oath to go with it. Yeah, he's got half of both his combos, right? He's got the Orchard without the Oath, and he's got the Show and Tell without the Grizzlebrand.
I mean, he has the Force of Will, this Pyromancer. Oh, he brainstorms first. Interesting. I was kind of thinking that he Pyromancers first.
Well, he knows the top couple of cards from the... Well, did he top? No, it was a Preordain, not a Ponder.
Yeah, it was a Preordain.
Top.
But he did find the land to cast the Pyromancer now.
Yeah, he may have top-topped.
He doesn't Force of Will.
He top-bottom, so he did not know. All right, young Pyromancer resolves.
Black Lotus. Does that enable the dig? It should, I think.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's one short, but he's got a Mox or an Orchard, so yeah, he can dig now.
It's a pretty expensive dig, but better than nothing.
Yeah, and he's got so many things he can hit.
Oh, Lewis dig. That looks a bit better after the time walk.
Absolutely. Now, what do you think of Rich's decision to let the Pyromancer resolve? It's normally a card he's happy to see in play, right?
Yeah, I guess. I
Turns
mean, the clock isn't that fast, and he's got the extra time to. Like, my problem with it is that he couldn't actually cast spells other than his permission, and Lewis had 3 cards in hand. But yeah, I mean, in general, he shouldn't be worried about young Pyromancer.
Interesting. I didn't even notice Luis has main deck Ancient Grudge.
One, he's got
Did you
a
just like
couple
nail the
monos.
Black Lotus?
I mean, you probably start with
What's he targeting?
Mox. I expect that it targets a Mox, right? Oh, it's a Lotus actually. Yeah. I mean, that kind of works great for Rich because he was sacrificing that anyway.
Yeah, I assume he just sacks it to dig his response, right? Oh, we could misdirect. Hit the Sapphire.
I would just dig here. I think I would want to have some
Agreed.
misdirection as a backup for Oath. Like if he draws an Oath now, like he probably has Force of Will and misdirection backup, which is pretty tough to beat for Lewis.
The danger of cool things.
Although then Rich doesn't always win if he resolves a Grizzlebrand, which has been a general problem in the Vintage League. Grizzlebrand not necessarily enough.
It has lost multiple games every season, like clockwork. Grizzlebrand gets into play and loses.
And that's what Lewis didn't want to see.
Yeah, there's the Oath off dig through time.
Ancestral would have been fine.
Luis cannot quite cast his own dig, right? He's one short.
Yeah, he's one short.
Island was the second card for Rich.
Now he can cast it if he wants to remove the grudge. I mean, killing the Mox Emerald on Rich side doesn't really do that much at this point.
Yeah, it makes an elemental token, but I think that's better as dig fuel. All right, Rich is going for Oath of Druids. Sure seems like Luis should dig through time as a response and see if he can find an answer, but
that's getting Force of Will.
Rich has the Force of Will backup. Indeed.
Pitching Show and Tell, I assume. Yeah.
That's the play.
And Lewis Time Walk is already gone.
Yeah, in fact, it's
like Rich position a lot right now.
Agreed. I mean, Luis is attacking for 6, knocking him to 10, but
so he cannot. Yeah, he's got enough life to activate Grizzlebrand once. So yeah. And there's no Emrakul in Rich deck, so it has like his only creatures is 3 Grizzlebrand, so it's definitely hitting that now. It mills the Time Walk though, so that's gone. It's the Time Vault too.
There is Grizzlebrand.
No,
he plays a Yawgmoth's Will.
Yeah, we're hoping for Yawgmoth's Will now in that game. I don't know what Lewis wants to draw now. Don't think that's much.
No, Rich just shifts the turn, doesn't even bother drawing the cards. If Luis does something scary enough, he can always draw them as response, but he just wants to keep it a high life total.
I think that's mainly because he milled the Time Walk. I think if he had Time Walk in his deck, he would have drawn 7. But after milling the Time Walk, I mean, there's no reason to.
Sure.
Wait, he didn't Oath?
He only
he's only Grizzlebrand. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
that doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And he's seen enough already.
All right, Rich Shay up a game, trying to clinch, not last. Luis Scott-Vargas trying to get into a tie for first, but he's gonna have to win 2 straight in what looks like a brutal matchup. Now, you were saying his sideboard, he kind of cheated on Oath Hate, right? Just the 2 cages.
Yeah. Just 2 cages, no disenchant effects.
Wow, he cannot destroy
much. Nope. He does have a Crucible, which is kind of good, I guess, and then there's another Pyroblast.
Sure, yeah, Pyroblast can do things. But there's no, I mean, there's only the 2 cages, and there's no, no way to blow up an Oath.
Not sure what, I mean, Rich has 4 Abrupt Decays? Holy crap. I mean, that's both killing the 2 cages and the Pyromancers.
Nice.
Oh yeah, this is only getting better for Rich after sideboard, I think.
Wow, it already looked kind of lopsided.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he can force through either the Oath or the Show and Tell for a Grizzlebrand, Luis's deck is just not set up to fight this fight. This is just not the deck he was expecting Rich to play. I mean, kudos to Rich for mixing it up here at the end, right?
Yeah. I think the 5 times before he always played young Pyromancer based decks.
Yes,
And
exactly.
then when Lewis plays him and just waiting for the young Pyromancer. Yeah. Lewis has one misdirection to deal with the abrupt decay. I mean, that could be enough, but it's not much.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen crazier things. His Luis's Dredge matchup was also miserable, and he managed to win 2 sideboard games there. So. Haven't gotten a look at Rich's deck list, but like you said, there's abrupt decays hanging out there, right?
There's 4 abrupt decays in the sideboard.
Not bad.
I think that's mainly what he's sporting in. There's not much else. I mean, there's a couple of Piscine Needles, Nature's Claims, but I mean, sure, Lewis has some targets, but I don't think that's coming in. Like, all the targets for Nature's Claim can be hit by abrupt decay, so... I mean, Rich has been cheating on Oath/Dredge Hate as well. It's like
wow, so Rich mulliganed a hand that had only a Mox for mana into a hand that has only an Orchard for mana. This one does have Preordained Brainstorm.
That's Lewis' game plan for game 2. I understand.
Yeah, Rich mulligans himself into oblivion. That's how Luis beat Eric, right? These things can happen. Luis's hand doesn't go anywhere yet. He really needs preordains into preordain.
Probably not casting it though.
I think he's sitting on blue Pyro. Card for Force of Will, right?
Yeah, and he wants to Pyro. So.
Rich top decks Tropical Island. That was a good draw. And he's got a preordain.
Rich hand looks pretty decent though.
And having seen Rich mulligan, knowing how much his deck needs to stitch combos together, Luis does not hesitate to Pyroblast that preordained. No deck manipulation for you. Only me.
Looking for the young Pyromancer at this point. Maybe Deck Faden. Deck Faden would be a really good draw too.
Comes up with Spell Pierce.
Spell Pierce, not exactly what we wanted to see.
Does mean he's got a blue card. And the Pierce itself is a good enough counter for a lot of these scenarios.
Probably Thoughtseize now and give him, I think.
Now you just Spell Pierce this if you're Luis?
I think you have to.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then Rich Ancestrals, which resolves.
Luis,
I don't think
no reason to give information about his hand, so yeah. Go ahead.
But Rich Ancestrals main phase now, right? I think. With Force of Will backup.
I would.
Yeah, this game, Deck Faden would be. I mean,
you could Ancestral as a response. If you're going to Ancestral main phase, you do it as a response because you might come up with a misstep. Force through your Thoughtseize anyway, right?
He did.
And he did. He came up with mental misstep. So no Spell Pierce. Thoughtseize is going to resolve. He gets to strip the Force of Will out of Luis's hand, and Luis has actual nothing. 5 lands and a Spirit token.
Needs a Greatest Thief right now, very fast. Or Treasure Cruise, something that draws the Force of Wills out of his hand.
Well, see what Preordain finds. Finds Brainstorm. Does have a fetch land, so this Brainstorm's pretty solid. Brainstorm's in the deck.
Yeah, but can't cast it anymore.
Put it back?
Yeah, but just protecting it from Thoughtseize. Okay. He's not going to use the fetch land.
That makes sense. Rich draws a Strip Mine.
Yeah, he's just hoping to brainstorm into Oath.
Here is the Brainstorm. We can't do anything about it. Finds the Grizzlebrand and a Thoughtseize.
That was not what he wants to see. I mean, the Thoughtseize is good for Lewis. Like, he will probably just shuffle away the Grizzlebrand, fetch Blackland and Thoughtseize, and he will be disappointed to see 2 lands.
Yeah, Luis's decision to put Dak on top of his deck was pretty smart here, right?
Yep.
He saw exactly this line of play potentially happening.
Just don't think I would have done it. I would have kept the deck and shuffled away a land.
Yeah, I feel like I would have kept the deck in my hand also. And this is just a great play from Luis. Wow, he's going to get
Thoughtseize.
Wow, such a good play.
Yeah, the Strip Mine is dead. That doesn't do anything in this game. But that's probably... Is it getting Force of Will?
Either way, I mean, either Luis gets to fix his hand by using the plus ability, or he knocks Rich's Force of Wills out of his hand.
I think I would force of will it because yeah, you know that your opponent has 2 lands in hand. Yeah, there's a whoa, that was a fast force of will.
It was. Rich has a lot of respect for Dak.
I was kind of impressed by how fast Steve in an earlier game force of willed the Lotus against Mirfolk.
Right.
Which I think was absolutely correct, but like he just knew that it was correct.
Didn't even have
And
to think about it.
we shuffled away the Grizzlebrand.
Oh no! Now suddenly they're in a top deck war, and
I like the old deck in the top deck war a lot.
well, that's true, but think about where Luis was 2 turns ago.
Sure, yeah, it looked really bad. I mean, to be fair, we are in a top deck war with an abrupt decay in hand.
Yeah.
Which is that kind of deals with most of the stuff that Lewis can draw. But yeah, if he finds a Dix through time now or something, that's pretty big.
Rich is down to 10 though.
That's not what the doctor ordered.
Doesn't do much.
Yeah, like if you actually get him to 7, that's kind of nice. So that if he gets a Grizzlebrand into play, he can't actually use it right away.
Preordained for Rich. Finds a Yogg.
Well,
Well, that's a good card.
Oh, there's no Lotus though. It's actually not that good. Like right now, it gets him a land and an ancestral. No, there's just land and ancestral in his graveyard. So I don't think he's casting it. Yeah, I think he will wait a turn. I mean, if you wait a turn, you get like Ancestral Brainstorm, which is a lot better.
Yeah, it's Brainstorm with a reshuffle off the fetch land that's in his yard too. He looks like, I mean, giving Luis a draw step is a chance for Luis to draw permission. He's 1 off hard casting Force of Will. Mana wise, Rich may just settle for land ancestral.
That's not the worst.
No, it's not the worst. Also, it does give Luis a 2nd Spirit Token, though, doubling the clock. So here's Yawgmoth's Will. It does resolve. I'm sure Rich is happy about that.
I mean, there's always a chance that you draw like a Mox and you can cast more stuff. But it's only the blue Mox. The blue Mox and the Lotus. And
Ancestral, and he finds
O's and Grizzlebrand. Alright, Lewis. Null Rod.
No.
That doesn't do anything.
Wow, Rich is already up a game. This one got interesting, but
yeah, looks like Rich is also pulling out of the big playoff.
It does look like Rich is going to be joining you and me in the.
And now you can actually, I guess.
I mean, do you oath? Do you show? What's the? You have a demonic tutor.
You can tutor time walk oath, but then you can just show and tell. Kind of the same thing.
Right. I think you lead with the show and tell first. That makes sense. Luis does have a counter. Make him use it on that. But Luis has nothing. Luis is holding mana.
Like this is the draw step for Luis. I don't know what he wants to draw. It has to be Dixter time. That now the game's over. Yeah, that's it. Luis concedes right away. I mean, he didn't even know about the demonic, but like, the next turn would have been attack with Grizzlebrand, draw 7, demonic tutor, time walk, attack, draw 7, game over.
All right, Luis Scott-Vargas is not going to be winning the regular season. So we currently have Chris Pakula alone in first, Luis Scott-Vargas a game behind him, and me a game behind that. Eric Froelich is yet to play. He's either going to tie Chris for first, or he's going to tie Luis for second and third.
Who's Eric's opponent? There's only one.
He's Tom Martell. That is the match, actually. We're going to let Luis and Rich come in to commentate that. They can decompress about their own match, and that's where we go now. Rich is out of the tie. Rich is safely through to the next season. The potential tie for last currently has only Steve Menendian joining. If Dave Williams wins, it'll be Dave and Bob. So Martell would like to stay out of the tie, but Eric would like that for those bye straight into the finals. He needs to win. If Eric loses to Tom, he may be playing the 3-4 match against me.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not interested in that, so he would rather just.
Luis can still finish, and he can get 0, 1, or 2 buys.
What's the matchup there? Thomas on Doomsday and Eric is on Dredge.
Eric is on Dredge. Dredge. The
probably favors Doomsday though, right?
I mean, I think Doomsday is slightly faster. Tom only has like 2 cards in his sideboard, but he's a slightly faster combo decks. He
He
doesn't
does have
really
two
need an
just to find
anti-dredge
those
plan.
two cards.
The real story here, though, is Dredge is 0-8. Dredge can't win
Yeah.
a match. Can it get to 0-9? Is that really a thing?
Yeah, a friend in the German message board was asking me why no one is playing Dredge, and I told him, yeah, well, people have tried, but it wasn't very successful. So yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. Thanks for hanging out, Kai.
Always
Congratulations
a
on
pleasure.
momentarily. We'll find out if Dredge can get off the schneid and Eric can get back into first place, or if Tom Martell can avoid the potential last place tie. Stay tuned.